Yes, kicking off his three-nation stop in Africa, in Kenya, then on to Nigeria and Senegal. US Secretary of State really there to promote democracy on the African continent. Part of this summit of democracies, it's been called, that the White House is convening virtually next month, pushing back on perhaps some of the problems that we've seen on the African continent when it comes to backsliding of civilian rule. Obviously addressed Ethiopia at the beginning, saying the conflict has to stop. Also, the Sudan peace agreement that the US helped broker, of course, is in shambles. That is a big problem. And when he gets to Nigeria, the violence in the north and increasingly in the south will be on his mind as well. But also he's there to promote the US on the continent, which, let's face it, has been backsliding in recent years, especially under the Trump administration, who he did not go and called a lot of African countries names, as we know from their history. So very much a focus on COVID as well, and making sure that the US is playing catch up when it comes to essentially rolling out more vaccines for many countries whose populations have still yet to receive their first shot.
We've provided more than 50 million doses to 43 African countries to date, including indeed close to 4 million doses here in Kenya. We've also given more than $1.9 billion in COVID-related assistance across Africa to help meet health and humanitarian needs, including $76 million to Kenya. And we've done this with no political strings attached. This is about saving lives.
There is criticism on the African continent that even though these vaccines are welcome, you could probably do more to distribute vaccines by lifting some of the patents on this from American drug companies and allow generic manufacturing in South Africa and elsewhere. That is not really, or it's happening, but it's very, very slow indeed. And in terms of investment on the continent, he talked about $1 billion nearly with trade with Kenya. Well, you know, there are other countries like China who has $200 billion of investments in Africa and leaving infrastructure as well. Despite the debate, the US is being seen as backsliding on that. So there's a lot of work to do. And the other thing I think really is important is that the diplomacy that we've seen intense when it comes to Asia, when it comes to other areas of the world, is sometimes missing on the African continent until there are problems. And I think many African nations would like the US to be there during the good times, not just reacting to the bad times as well. Nathan King, CGTN at the White House.